Hello, and welcome back to the vault. This is Josh coming back with another video. So I've got some interesting stuff today, but before we get started, can everyone just do me a favor and drop a 1 in the chat? Everybody can drop a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. Drop a 1 in the chat if you can hear me, and we'll go ahead and get started. Got a few good videos. Okay, great. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. So I'm not going to share, the phone numbers or anything like that. And the reason is I have to maintain the privacy. So I have to be careful with what I do share. So just bear with me just a moment while I pull up some information. Now I've got a lot of really good stuff that I got from Fraudy that I can share with you guys and go back to what happened when they were going through all of the professional standards division investigation. So got some emails from there. I've got one of Jeremy's old bulletins and stuff like that. So really good stuff. Hopefully you guys like it. So after reviewing everything, I'm cutting in and out. Am I cutting in and out for everybody or just for Helen? Because the same thing happened last week and it was just one person. So drop a 2 in the chat if you're having issues hearing me. Otherwise, I'll just keep going. All right. So that being said, I've been looking over the records of calls, and I've got 2 phone numbers for 2 different people. See, test 628 is good. Okay, great, Gams. It's probably on your end, okay? So hang in there, try to get to a better spot. Militia 3333, great to have you here. Helen, great Gams. Looks like you guys are having a little bit of a tough time. Well, we'll see what happens. Okay, so going back to the records. So I was reviewing the records, and everything that we have is up to May 28th, 2025. And it's essentially all of the call logs. Now, I can't share these particular logs because they've got phone numbers and personal information and stuff like that, which I cannot share. Now, that said, I can tell you that sometime in, it looks like early April is when things change for Jeremy and for Rania. So essentially, they were talking here and there, a couple minutes here, a couple minutes there. But sometime in mid-April, their calls changed to like 20 minutes, 23 minutes. And the only other person he's talking with is the mom, right? And then he's definitely made a couple calls to Jennifer where it looks like he is leaving messages. But for the most part, when you go through it, I mean, it's just strictly Rania and the moms. I mean, literally, the records go all the way back to February. And going all the way back to February, there were like a couple minute calls here and there. There were some longer ones back then, but it was more when Jeremy was still fighting, and then you can see it fade out. Now, let's see. Too far away from the mic. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay, let's see. All right, cool. So I'm going to pull up the bulletin. So I've got both bulletins, one from OCSO and one from OPD. And I have to black out some of the information, but it's an officer safety bulletin. And it's about when Jeremy was going to do something stupid. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to take a screenshot of it and black out some information. But essentially what you get here is you get all of Jeremy's, like why they're going after him and stupid stuff like that, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and use that. I have to delete his address and his personal info, his tag numbers. Let's get rid of his tag numbers. All right, so here is the original officer safety bulletin from Orange County. It says Metro State Special Services Vehicle Protection Unit LLC is owned by Jeremy Dewitte, which is related to Metro State Emergency Services. Jeremy Dewitte is a prolific law enforcement impersonator and has been arrested and convicted for impersonating an LEO multiple times. Dewitte is also a registered, you can read that yourself, in accordance with FSS 943, blah, blah, blah. He claims to be ex-military and ex-law enforcement, but he is neither. Dewitte also threatened multiple times to sue for harassment when he is stopped and or arrested for impersonation. In February of 2019, OPD received information that Dewitte was going to attempt something by cop. Okay, you guys reading that? He was out on bond for failing to register as a offender and failure to report. Dewitte stated that this to a source that he wanted to hurt a police officer, thereby forcing law enforcement to unalive him. In July 2019, he was arrested in Chicago, Illinois for assault, aggravated assault, deadly weapon, and criminal charge of property. He threw balcony chairs at a tow truck driver and threatened to bring something else. Let's see what's going on in the chat here. Why bother? Oh, man. So you're filming the stuff in Iran? Is that right? Can you put that in the chat for me? That's crazy. Mickey, great question. I will look up her court case here in just a moment. Why bother? Hope you're doing good, man. Hope everything's all right. I'm going to dig into this a little bit more. On October 17, 2019, during the course of an active investigation, a victim was interviewed. The victim stated she heard Mr. Dewitte make comments similar to the effect of, "I'm not going back to prison. If the police want to try and arrest me again, I will go to the sheriff's station and take care of it." Yeah. According to the victim, these comments were made in January of this year. Yeah, I didn't know. Ronnie had a court case either. So let's go to would that be Orange County? Let's check it out. We'll check out Orange County and we'll check out Osceola while we're here. So this is all publicly released information, so it's stuff I can share. Okay. Let's see if she at least has a case somewhere in here. No, I'm not seeing anything for her in Orange County. Let's see. I think Great Gams was asking about Helen was asking about the insurance cases. Any update on the insurance cases? Let's take a look. All right, criminal felony. Let's see how our favorite felon is doing. All right, so the hearing on the 16th was canceled. And nothing new here. So here's what we're looking at right now. We're looking at July 8th of the pretrial conference and July 21st of the actual conference. But yeah, look at all the stuff that happens here. Like, he's had so much stuff go on in his case. And this is how all of his cases are, because he's got so many shenanigans going on. And, they always have to repeal his bail because he's an idiot, right? And then you got all these fun charges. Now, there's no action taken on these last, 4 charges. Part of me wonders if eventually they're going to get to that. Now, let's go over to Osceola County Clerk of Court. All right, so let's go here. All right, how's everybody doing? Everybody doing all right? Hanging in there, other than our friend over in the Middle East. Man, I hope you're all right. Hope things going all right there. let's go ahead and take a look here and see if we can find Ranya's information in here. Okay. Yeah, nothing. I don't see anything in these cases. Now, I'm going to pull something up and show you where she was. She was actually mentioned as a suspect. So bear with me here. I'll pull that up. I want to show you guys the OPD bulletin real quick, though. Let me be careful with that. Okay, so there's that first bulletin. All right, I'm going to pull up this next one. Now, these things are supposed to be only for law enforcement, but, you know, everything is releasable to the public. So I got to black out a few things here. Bear with me. Now, the address it's actually showing on here was one that Rudy took me to. Rudy showed me his where he used to live in Florida. Not just the address in Kissimmee, the other one. It's right by this park. Hold on, let me make sure there's nothing. Oh, hold on, I gotta get rid of his birth date here. Okay, and we're good. Birth date should be fine, but you never know with YouTube. All right, so this is an officer safety bulletin with OPD. The intelligence unit received information from the FBI that Jeremy Dewitte is going to attempt unaliving by cop. Jeremy Dewitte is currently out on bond for failing to register as an offender. Dewitte has stated to cooperating source that he wants to attack a police officer, forcing law enforcement to shoot him. Hold on 1 second. Sorry, folks. Live broadcast. Almost had a Cleopatra incident there. Like, if you guys watch Shane, you know what I'm talking about. Anyhow, so they didn't have probable cause to arrest him, but, you know, this is what was going on. So it went to both OPD and Orange County. All right, so let's go ahead and close that out. Now, I'm going to pull up this other one where it's an incident report, and it talks about... All right, here we go. So this is the case from Tony, when he stole from Tony. Now, in this case, Rania is actually listed on here. Now, I have to be careful with her information, but I'm going to take a quick snippet and show you guys. Snippet. Okay. So if you see here, suspect number 2, Rania Muhammad Dewitte. So she was actually a suspect in this case as well. Now, I had to give you just a tiny little snippet of that because you have to be careful what you share here. All right. Matt Lilly, I finally caught you live this time. Yes, sir. You're in Australia, if I remember right. All right. So they were accused of several different things. They were accused of interception and disclosure of wire, oral, and electronic communications. That's because Jeremy had those hidden cameras in his office. They weren't visibly displayed. Now, if you go through here, it says on the 10th of October, 2019, at approximately 1:58 p.m., Corporal Ramsey met with Tony Constantine in reference to Jeremy Dewitte attempting to scam Mr. Constantine. Deputy First Class Dave Mitiga was present during the interview. Interview was recorded with consent. Now, Mr. Constantine stated that on about June 20th, 2019, he and Mr. Dewitte, at the request of Mr. Dewitte, drove over to the site. Bear with me 1 second. I just lost my computer. Okay. Sorry about that. Mr. Constantine stated on about June 20th, drove to Tampa to look at a tow truck. Now, this is the infamous tow truck that we have. Mr. Constantine stated that Mr. Dewitte was already in the business of escorts and protection with police cruisers and motorcycles and an ambulance business, and was also wanting to get into a tow truck service and was looking for Mr. Constantine for support with this endeavor. Mr. Constantine stated that they met with the seller, at which time Mr. Constantine took pictures of the title and bill of sale, which was $15,000. It should be noted that Mr. Constantine was unable to provide pictures, result of losing the phone that had pictures of Mr. Constantine. He stated that then a day or two, Mr. Dewitte contacted him, stating that he needed to purchase the tow truck as soon as possible in order not to lose it. Mr. Constantine advised Mr. Dewitte to purchase the vehicle, writing a check, and he would cover the value, $15,000. Mr. Dewitte advised Mr. Constantine that the seller would not take a check. So basically, what happens is he goes and gets out $15,000, and then puts a lien on Jeremy's vehicles, and then Jeremy tries to twist it around on him, which is just absolutely insane. Look at the size of this thing. Now I'm going to pull up the supplemental report because it's a little bit better. Okay, here is the supplemental report. According to the report, a personal loan of $15,000 was given to the listed suspect, Jeremy Dewitte, by his landlord, Mr. Constantini. He had also given a loan to Dewitte for purposes of purchasing a tow truck for Dewitte's business. Victim reported an additional loss of $3,000 for construction material costs related to improvements to the commercial space rented to Mr. Dewitte. Dewitte ultimately failed to make payments on the loan. Terms of the loan between the two parties were agreed verbally and resulted in cash payment of $15,000 to Dewitte. Later, the loan had already been dispersed. Dewitte and Constantini entered into a written agreement. Dewitte made a series of video and audio recordings of his meetings regarding the rental and loan agreement with Constantini. One of the meetings, Constantini does not appear to be aware of the recording. Recent Orlando police incident report indicates Constantini took possession of the tow truck and a second vehicle belonging to Jeremy Dewitte's company on June 6, 2021. Dewitte reported the repossession of the as a grand theft complaint. So he got the vehicle back from him, and Jeremy reports it as theft. And F-Boy Friday says Willie Peanut. It's a great name, by the way. See, for all the horrendous acts Jeremy has done, essay of a minor and threatening an old man are the worst, in my opinion. I agree. It's the absolute worst. He's a terrible human being. Now, let's see. Investigative review. In addition to the incident report, the following digital evidence obtained during the investigation was reviewed. Copies of documents provided by the victim, copies of the DMV records, Department of Motor Vehicles, 2 recorded interviews with the victim, 2 recorded interviews of Jeremy Dewitte, recorded interview of an unidentified other agency investigator and Jeremy Dewitte, labeled as Jennifer Burton interview. 4 audio/video files reported to have been recovered from Jeremy Dewitte's work computer by OCSO personnel pursuant to a search warrant on an unrelated matter. Now, this is kind of what how Jeremy got tied up into everything. Dummy Jeremy, was out doing stupid stuff and ended up getting himself in trouble. Hey, why bother? I hope you're okay over there, man. Let us know everything's all right once you stop hearing the sirens. Hey guys, don't forget to like and subscribe, and let's support our friend here. He's in the middle of the conflict between Israel and Iran, so let's keep him in our thoughts and prayers, okay? All right, as it relates to the grand theft charges by fraud, scheme to defraud, and elderly exploitation, I determined the following. So he basically goes through and gives the whole case details. All right. Incoming. Uh-oh. That's crazy. Why bother? Where are you at? Are you in Israel or Iran? Dang. All right, so I'm going to move on to a few other things. So we've got some emails from ASA Moore. Now, ASA Moore, regarding our conversation, you have contact information for statewide prosecutor who contacted you regarding Sergeant Vidler's arrest. Finally found the email, so that's just kind of a scrap one. All right. Now, I'm going to be going through this whole thing. I just want to kind of show you guys what I have here. Look at all these emails. Look at all the pages of emails that Jennifer supplied, going all the way back to 2015. Absolutely insane. When you get a chance, call me in reference to blah, 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 July 27, 2017. This was a case for aggravated assault and battery. The victim was Dylan Vogt. So if you guys don't know, Dylan is Jeremy's brother. See, I'm currently in North Amman. Oh, Jordan. You're in Jordan. But I travel up north a lot. Crazy. Hey, man, I hope everything's all right. Let us know if you need anything. I wish there was more I could do. But yeah, so I'm going to start scanning these things just to show you guys kind of what's going on here. But there is a ton of info. I have all the videos that are in our case packet. Thanks. When you see the new videos one day, you'll be surprised by the behavior or not. It's from John Ramsey. So there's a bunch of stuff going on in here. Let's see. Jeremy will try to use the warrant for early release so he can escort the troops. Yeah, totally. Anyway, so I'm going to go through these pages. I've got a bunch more. I have so much that Fraudy's given me that I'm going to try and make my way through them one by one, but it's a ton of information. Okay, so here is an email from Major Enzueto to, I believe it's Chief Deputy Zweig. Give me just a moment. Let me pull that up. Bear with me, guys. My computer's thinking here. Okay, here we go. All right. Captain Carpenter, I've discussed this with Chief Deputy Zweig. The undersheriff has discussed this with the sheriff as well. If the SAO has sent a tasking sheet for a statement regarding the victim in VA, then we can obtain that for them. However, once that is done, we are done with this case. We will not arrest any other employees of this organization. Now, this is the stand down order. If the SAO wants to issue any warrants, that's on them. If another agency wants to arrest, that's on them as well. We are done. This is coming from the very top. Other than preparing our case for the arrest we have already made on Dewitte, I do not want to spend any more time on this case. Please make sure this message is delivered to those who are working on the case. I truly appreciate all the hard work done on this case. Below is a portion of what I sent to Chief Deputy Zweig, which went on to you2. Now, the white male victim in the video in the blue vehicle has been identified. DeWitt stopped. The SAO wants a statement from this victim who is out of Virginia. Once a statement is obtained, the SAO wants a warrant issued for felony charges. Now, if you guys remember, this is that particular video where Jeremy's, basically challenging the guy, not the Porsche guy. This is like I think it was like in a Ford Focus or something like that. But the guy was challenging whether or not Jeremy was a cop, and he said, "No, I'm a state certified agent. You know, you need to pull your vehicle over to the side of the road." Lastly, the SAO is requesting we file charges on 6 other employees. These charges stem from the investigation by our deputies. So initially, this is the stand down order, and what they're trying to do is stop any other investigation. And I suppose they could go on with charges forever. I don't know why they didn't just, hey, charge him with whatever they had. And Nikki says, do your little Google search. That's such a Jeremy thing to say. Hey guys, don't forget to like and subscribe, okay? Hit that like button. Appreciate you all. Now, like I said, I've got so much information. I'm going to show you guys what I have. Let's go to my Dropbox. I'm going to show you all this stuff that was sent to me. It's absolutely insane. This is the stuff that I have to share. Fleet history, Metro State evictions. Let's see. Bunch of restraining orders from Jen. Some IA case files. I've already released those. The jury instructions email from Lieutenant Seagraves, which we'll take a look at that one. Now, today I received an email from the communication center regarding a phone from an unknown female who had information about the possible threat against Sergeant Keith Vidler. The unknown, unidentified caller stated James Dewitte had made a threat against Sergeant Vidler, but never described to the extent of the threat. Contacted communication center and spoke with the on-duty supervisor, who advised they did not give a name or number of get the name or number of the female caller. The communication center could only provide me with the recordings of the calls. Contacted Sergeant Vidler and advised him of the situation. I then contacted Lake County Sheriff's Office Communication Center and had Sergeant Vidler's address flagged. Spoke to Lake County Intelligence and informed them on the situation. I also informed the communication center to call me instead of emailing me in the event the female caller calls again. I will continue to monitor the situation and attempt to identify the caller to ascertain further information. And then it says, Justin, here is the email from Agent Neville Arthur. I have a copy of the audio files from the comm center referenced in the email. So there's so much stuff like this that goes on in the background that nobody knows about except for like Fraudy and PT. Like, look at all this stuff. And this isn't all of it. I've got multiple more folders to go through. Tons and tons and tons of stuff. So this one, though, is the most important, I think. This the stand down order. And this comes from Major Inzueto, which from the information I got, he's kind of a douche. I heard Sandy Carpenter is an okay guy because I talked to one of the local people. Let's see. Greg Gam says, forget Jen, he misses his coffee packs. Definitely. And Greg Gam says, release it all. I'm going to, for sure. So I'm going to be going through all this, and I'll be doing a live once or twice a week to go over all the information that I have. There's some stuff I might have to put behind a paywall because it's sensitive. Really sensitive. It's stuff we've talked about before. I got to get permission to release, though. So if I'm going to, I'd have to get permission first. So yeah, let's pull up the next one we have. See, email between Sergeant Vidler. Okay, so let's start at the bottom here. And it says, Steve, can you look at this FSS 843? It's given us a case number. Unlawful use of badges and other indications of authority, with Metro State wearing badges on their uniforms and their vehicles, the same color scheme as Ocoee PD. I believe this statute fits both the uniform, badges, and vehicles. Then he goes on to give the code and all that information. Good morning. Everything I read on this particular statute are cases in which courts have not held it constitutionally vague and overbroad. I'm not seeing an instance where the statute was utilized and upheld. I do believe the badges themselves are agency authorized or imitations of any federal and state or county or municipal law enforcement agency or other criminal justice agency as defined. They do not include wordings described that do not appear to be replicas of actual authorized agency. However, in totality, the badges, wording, uniforms, vehicles, lights, and actions give the appearance of law enforcement. Steve Miller. Now that's their local counsel. See, Helen says, I have always been curious about Jeremy's father/stepfathers. Is anything known about them? So, from what I gather, Jeremy doesn't know anything about his actual dad. Yeah, I believe, yeah, this I believe is true, that they both died from cancer. I know the stepdad did. And then, we know that she dates chicks now. So, there you go. Yeah, that's not what the judge said. And then he says, thanks. When I read it, I was thinking his badges are identical to LAPD. Without the words LAPD, it might apply. Keith Fiddler. Interesting. That's a great factor that should be used in the overall impersonating. Figures he didn't come up with an original design. At your convenience. And give out a little bit too much there. Yeah, Violet says deceased. True story. True story. All right, let's see what else we got in here. Bear with me. I'm going to pull up a few other things in the background here. Stepdad is tired of Jeremy stealing gas with his Explorer badge. I know, that one's funny to me. That's one of my favorites. All right, I'm going to pull up my Dropbox real quick, see if there's anything cool I want to show you guys. All right, Metro State. Let's check out his eviction. Okay, we'll pull up his eviction real quick, see what you guys think. He's got multiple evictions, by the way. All right, procedure to evict tenants from real property in Orange County, Florida. All conditions precedent to initiate the maintenance of this action have been performed, have occurred, are excused, or have been waived. And then defendants have possession of property under verbal lease agreement that obligates the defendants to pay $2,000 per month as rent plus sales tax and other charges. Defendants have breached the lease agreement by failing to make the rental payment when due and is indebted to the plaintiff for $3,100 for unpaid rent, which will continue to accrue. Defendants were served with a 3-day notice to pay rent or vacate the premises pursuant to Florida statute. Copy of this notice has been incorporated in the complaint. The defendant refuses to do either. This lease agreement is expired and the defendant was served with the notice of termination, notice to vacate, terminating any leasehold. So Jeremy owed $3,100. Defendant has possession of property under a verbal lease agreement that obligates the defendant to pay plaintiff $2,000. It was $3,100. Yeah, so good old Jer Bear got kicked out of there. Makes me wonder how he's able to get anything. Like, he's been evicted. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 eviction notices. Six eviction notices. Let's see what this one is. Division of Licensing. Oh, he got his security license canceled. I'll show you guys this one too. This is a fun one. All right, comes now Department of Division of Licensing pursuant to Florida statutes and states licensing authority as herein defined statutory jurisdiction over respondent alleges. Yeah, that's old. And set forth the respondent petitioner has revealed facts which justify action provided by Florida statutes. Count 1, on or about April 10th, 2001, perform the services of a security officer after revocation of respondent's Class D security officer license. Respondent is in violation. So Jeremy was working as a security guard after his license got removed. So his life is absolutely littered with this stuff everywhere. Moss Mummy says that's the legal law. That would be a good t-shirt. I'm going to have to do that one too. If you guys don't know, we've got t-shirts, lots of fun stuff. I had to shorten the names because it was messing with the orders, but we got some fun ones here. You can be a Metro State certified agent, higher than security, less than police. And this one here, Motor 1, estimated negative 37. You better figure it out. Oh, sorry, I laugh at my own jokes. And then long screwdriver, orange handle with multiple colors. So you better figure it out, folks. And they're all under $20, just as long as the size doesn't go too big, right? 4XL is $25. XL is still $19.49. So everything's under $20. Try to keep it as cheap as possible with the highest quality. Okay, so let's go ahead and close that one out. And let's see if we got anything else fun in here. But yeah, so we've got a lot of stuff that's coming. A lot of really good stuff. Let's see. Restraining. Oop. Sorry, they're pulling stuff at my house. All right. Well, that is going to end it for today, folks. Yeah, I will do another one probably this weekend, maybe tomorrow. So I'll catch you guys on the next one. Until then, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next one, okay? Thanks, guys.